All right, so good morning, everybody. My name is Ryan McGinnis. I am a digital learning specialist and regional account manager for the Wakelet team. Mostly I service the Northeast United States. So that's, anything from Virginia on up in that territory. But I'm also doing PDs and trainings and webinars and some of the resources that we'll share between today's, this session, the Getting Started with Wakelet. And then the one that's coming up next after this is the Engaging Students with Wakelet. So if you're looking to get all of the Wakelet goodness today, you got this session followed by another one right afterwards. I'm also going to share my screen and take you through how to get started with Wakelet, all the basics, how to use it, how to create a collection. And then I'm going to give you my collection as well so that you have access to all of the materials that I'm going to share today. So no need to worry, if you're a note taker and you're taking notes and something goes by a little quick, don't worry, I'll have the collection here for you that I'm going to share out as well. But, it seems like it's a relatively small group, so feel free to use the chat to ask any questions. I'll try to monitor on both of these, and we'll go ahead and get started with Getting Started with Wakelet. So I'm hoping you can see my screen because it says you can. So I'm going to go ahead and hope that that is true. And what I would like to talk about is just what Wakelet is and what it can do. So when you sign into your Wakelet account for the very first time, what you're going to notice is you're taken to your collections section, just like here for me. And while I have a ton of collections in here from previous use, I've been using Wakelet since 2017. I became a Wakelet ambassador in 2019. I was wave 5, and now we're on wave 50. So I think that's kind of important. And there is Chad. So as Chad comes on, Chad, I was waiting for him to come in before I got started. Chad, introduce yourself because I want people to know the face that runs the place in the Southeast there, or South Central. You're muted. You're muted. Let's see if we can unmute you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, there we go.
Hi, everybody. I am in the South Central. I'm in Tyler, Texas, and it's good to be here. I am your contact for anything you need. I'm super easy to find. We are the size company where my email address is chad@wakelet.com. So that's me, and I will be quiet and let the experts do the rest of the talking.
Thanks, Chad. I knew it was coming. That's why I wanted to make sure he got the introduction. So yeah, Chad's going to be your go-to. Chad knows where to find me. So if there's anything that needs to be, fixed up on or caught up on after today's session, feel free to get in touch with Chad. But again, this is your home screen here. This is the section where it's going to take you into Wakelet for the very first time. And Chad gave us a really great example about, I don't know, say 6 months ago. And he's like, you don't buy a notebook and expect other people to have written in it already. You buy that notebook to be open and completely empty so that you can fill it with the materials that you want to utilize. So for many people, when they first log into Wakelet for the very first time and they see that stark contrast of just nothing there, it can be a little overwhelming. So if you're in that boat and you're just getting started with your Wakelet journey, please, please, please don't feel like you are missing something or you're just lost in the sauce. Don't worry, we're going to get you covered up with this section. So we're going to go over just a couple basics of the navigation around Wakelet first. So you got your collections, and this is where all of your collections reside. Every time you make a new collection, up here with the Create Collection, it'll pop in here so that you can see and scroll to find all of your collections. And think of collections as a group of materials or items that are coherently arranged around a single topic. And it might be a lesson plan, it might be a module, a unit, a chapter, a theme, it could be a common book, it could just be an idea. We're going to look at a bunch of different options today so that you're going to create a collection. And in the very basics terms, it's going to be just like reverse Pinterest. Instead of going here for inspiration, you're going to pull all of your materials and resources in from anywhere across the web and put them into a collection. You're going to have an area that's called Shared with Me, and you're going to see lots of collections here. You'll see all of the ones that are shared between usually the Wakelet team and a couple other people that have shared collections with me. And this is where I can see and join those collections that have been brought to my attention. When I click Explore, it's where I can find the inspiration. So this is where I can go to become inspired to make a collection about something else or see what's current and hot in the educational trends. So I can find top picks from the Wakelet team. These are curated picks. We've got 6 or 7 people on our team who do go through quite often and look for some examples that we find that are inspirational or that we think would be very beneficial for other people to see. So you have the ability to go in here and find things that you want. And we also have a search bar where you can search for certain topics. So of course, if I'm looking for something like digital citizenship, I can find different collections that might inspire me to use something else. So I might be able to go in here. I can save this to my bookmarks so I can reference it later on. And you'll find that in your bookmarks. Those are just things that you saw that were interesting of note and you wanted to keep it so you could come back to it later on. And that would be your bookmarks. So again, that was just the basic navigation around what it is. But we're going to talk about a little bit more the idea behind the why of what Wakelet does. And for oftentimes, many of us, we got started in education. This was something that was very prevalent, right? We saw the exclusive hyperdoc. And we saw the ability to put all of your links onto a document and then the images and anything else we wanted to. And we would share that link or that document out. So we thought we were really shortcutting the amount of time. But we also know that this isn't visual. This isn't engaging for students. And this just doesn't work as well as everything else does. These links don't give me any impact. They don't give me any detail about what I'm clicking on. And if I just send link after link after link through Microsoft Teams as my LMS, we've all been there. We know what scrolling back through those team feeds are like. It buffers, it takes a lot of time. You can't really find what it is you're looking for. So we take that same exact idea of a hyperdoc, and instead, with those materials, we end up creating something that's very visual like this. So those same links, the life cycle of a frog from Kadaddle is now visually appealing for students. They know exactly what they're clicking on and they know what they're working with. Gives them the title, pulls the description and the image in for them, which is really slick. And it does this with great confidence. About 98% of our websites pull in really great for that metadata. There's still a couple that don't. MSNBC is usually one of them. But if you pull something from there, I'll show you in a little bit how you can actually tweak these so you have full editing permissions to make these look as nice as you would like. That same image from the hyperdoc that no one can ever get with the text wrap and putting it in correctly where you want it to be is now uploaded into our site. So we store those pictures for you in high quality, and the students or consumers can click on and off to resize those images. So it's really great for sharing out your content. And then you're building, so you keep adding content from anywhere, like websites, Kahoot quizzes. You can bring in all of those different materials, even YouTube videos. And the YouTube videos embed nicely. You can see it here on that screen. That life cycle of a frog video will play with no ads, no distractors. There's nothing that's going to get interfere with your students' consumption of that video. So really excellent for that. And then the last piece is that you can add some text options in here as well. So you see frog spawn, that's a text box, and it has the immersive reader icon in that corner, which means I can click on that immersive reader and it will read it out loud to me. Apparently, immersive reader might be down for a minute, so shocker. Try to demo something and not everything works all the time. There we go. So here we go. So we got frog spawn.
One frog spawn.
So it will read it out loud. I can also go into the book if you've used Microsoft's Immersive Reader before, and you can translate anything that you type into over 67 different languages. So a tremendous equalizer for our students. Right, so you bundle all of your materials together for the chapter, module, unit, lesson, whatever it is you're creating, and then you share that out with a single link. So what we're doing essentially is we're saving. We know that every added click is an opportunity for students to get lost. And we're taking that away from the classroom. right? We've all tried to do a Kahoot quiz with the last 10 minutes in class, and he's at Kahoot, he's at Kahoot, she's at who knows what, right? And you've just lost that entire time frame of trying to squeeze in an extra review game. In essence, you could have put all of your materials into this Wakelet collection and get that share link for the Kahoot quiz and pop it right into this collection and share that out at once. So you're shortcutting the amount of time it takes for students to get. Once shared with students, students can still add content. So Cindy, we're going to get to that. Adding content is going to be 2 different ways. Right now, we're sending them the view only link, so they're consuming the content. They're able to click on and interact with the content, but they're not able to add. That's one of our recent changes that we'll talk about here in a little bit. So good question, setting me up for the future here. And before we get into anything else, what is Wakelet and why is it so powerful? Because it can be used for so much, right? You can use this for things like newsletters. You can use this for lessons and activities. You can use this for research projects, focus groups. You can use it for profiles, microblogs, right? This replaces a lot of different tools that you're utilizing, but it also brings that multimedia access to the web with everything working from across the web. So here we go. This is one of my favorite slides. I love showcasing the fact that it works with all the tools you're already using. Right? If you are a Canva lover, great, Canva's built in. You love Book Creator? Hey, guess what? Not only do book creators go in here, your books, but they also look like Book Creator. You can click and flip through all of your books just like you can inside of Book Creator. So we work with anything across the web. Anything with a share link can be popped into and utilize this. One of my favorites is a Nearpod. So you can put self-paced Nearpod lessons in here, followed by a YouTube video, followed by a couple websites you want your students to explore, and then follow it up with a quiz so that you're building that custom playlist for your students. So of course you can sign in, and I saw somebody in the chat said that they were utilizing use Microsoft and Google as well as Clever. So creating your account when you get in there, and there's the reference to Chad's notebook analogy that I wanted to bring back in there because I think it is very important to know. Like, don't get worried when there is a blank screen in front of you. So again, I'll share all this resources out to you here in a minute. But we're going to collect and curate an activity together. So I'm going to show you how to create your very first collection. And then I'm going to give you some time to actually build a collection here in a little bit as well with Chad and I on here to offer some help. So from my home screen, I'm going to go ahead and click in the upper right-hand corner where it says Create Collection. And it's going to take me to yet another blank canvas. So don't be afraid. There's nothing wrong with blank canvases. We're going to get a chance to add whatever it is that we want. And you're going to see first, give your collection a title. So I'm going to call this Demo Collection Numero Uno, number 1. I'm going to put that in there. I can give it a little mini description if I want to. Training session number 1. Session 1. So I can add that in there. And then I'm going to do what I do usually is this is still too stark for me. So I get my title, I get my little mini description, and right away I head to the paintbrush in the upper right-hand corner because I want to start with a design. And you'll see that I can choose a cover image, which is going to be that square at the very top of my collection. And you'll notice when you click on that choose image, I get 4 different options. 1, I can upload my own image. And oftentimes what I do is I go to the district's website that I'm presenting with, and I'll get a screenshot or a logo, and I upload that. But you can also design with Canva, choose from Giphy, or choose from Unsplash. So in this case, I'm going to showcase the design with Canva integration. So I click allow this cookie, and you'll notice that all of my stuff, we get some templates that are already in here from Canva, but what's really cool is my uploads are still in here. So if I want my pretty backgrounds that Els designed for us from the Wakelet team, I can go in here and say, you know what, we used this one yesterday for our webinar. I'm going to go ahead and use that. I'm going to grab our logo. And maybe I want to search for an element. And this is really cool that Wakelet and Canva have that tremendous partnership. So I can find different graphics. I can bring different pieces in. I can have whatever it is that I want to be shown inside of Wakelet. And of course, I'm not a graphic designer. I just pretend to be one sometimes. So I'm just going to toss that wave right there and hit publish. But it's important to note that my publishing is going to go directly in there. And if I made a mistake, I can go back to that design tab, click design with Canva again, and it's going to allow me to go right back to that design right where I was. So no harm, no foul. If you make a mistake, you can always go back in and edit. Also under that design tab is where I'm going to choose my background image. So you can choose a background image. I oftentimes just choose something that's mellow and low key for backdrops. So for my instance today, I'm going to go with something that kind of melds the two colors together. You'll notice on our social campaign, we're doing team control versus team chaos. I'm very much team control. I like a lot of my colors and themes and schemes to match up. Chad, I believe, is also team control. So I think that's why we work well together. He's also team control, and I appreciate a lot about that. So you get to your cover image, you get to your background image, and then down below that, you find your layout options. And your layout options, you can change at any time while you're adding your content. But it's just important to know the different types of layouts. So media is that top-down playlist view, big blocks, everything looks like it was supposed to look like that frog lesson plan. Life cycle of a frog, that was media view, right? Everything is very visual, very interactive. If you get a lot of links in there, like 80 some items, it's going to take a while to still scroll. So you might want to switch to compact mode, and that's going to shrink it down. And as I get some content into this collection, I'll show you how each one can change and look. Grid view is really excellent for comparing and contrasting. It's 2 columns of items, and you can drag and drop, of course, to rearrange, but it's really great if you were doing a compare and contrast, or you're splitting up an article with 2 different political views, but one on one side, one on the other side, so that you can have a debate. You can put that into grid view. Mood board, we're mostly familiar with. If you use Pinterest, it'll just put all of the blocks out there in a random order. You can drag and drop and rearrange as well. And then we have column view. And column view, if you've used it before, just got a refresh like 2 days ago, which is really awesome, that the headers will stay static while you're scrolling in your columns, which is something that I've been asking for about, 2 years. And I'm really excited that Rick fixed that for us 2 days ago. So super excited. We'll show you what these look like as we go through. So we're going to start by building our collection. And you see that paste any web address and the rest of our items here on our toolbar. So we'll just kind of walk you through each one before turning you loose to do something on your own. So I've already prepped and ready. I have a website right here ready to go. And this is what we know about district tech leaders and charts. It's something I'm reading right now. But all I got to do is Control-C. I'm going to copy the link to whatever site it is that I want to put into my collection, right? It could be a website or an article or something you want your kids to look at from across the web. And I'm just going to paste that in here, and look at what it does. It pulls the cover image, the title, and the description. So just the same thing as on the website, it pulled the exact same content directly in here. So what we're noticing is that looks really great. That's a visual representation of that link. It looks really good. But if I wanted to, I could click the ... Up here in the Northeast, I call it the dead snowman because he's fallen over. Sometimes if you teach littles, it's the dots of 3, click on me. You can use either one, drama dots, I've heard that too. But click the 3 dots, and then you can click edit, and you can completely customize how your links look. So again, I can change the image if I don't like what is shown from our data scraper. I can upload an image. I can design again with Canva. I can choose Giphy and Unsplash. Down below, I can change the title. So if I'm working with younger students, I might put like number 1, start here. If I'm working with middle or high school students, I could probably utilize the title that's already on here. And then there is that description. So I can customize all of that so that it's ready to go. And you'll notice that toolbar right here is static. So anytime I use that toolbar, it's going to put that item right there at the very top. If I want to build my collection in chronological order, if I float down below my last item, I can hit the plus sign and another floating toolbar will show up. So don't feel like, items get added at different spots. you can drag and drop to rearrange as well. So we've got a full functional text editor. The pencil with an icon allows you to type some text. So bold, italicized, you can do headings, you can do numbers and bulleted lists. This is an example of a text box. Pretty cool. And you notice it saves for you automatically as you're typing. You just click off of the text box and it's going to pop that in for you. Now, because I'm the editor, I don't see the immersive reader icon in the right-hand side, but if I click the three dots, immersive reader is there. My viewers, when I send this out, will have the ability to see the immersive reader icon up there. So this will read it out loud to them as well as translate it into the different text. I use this mostly when working with students or teachers in collections. I like to narrate with text my collections just in case language differences, or if they forget something that was said during a webinar like today, they have the ability to go back through. So you'll notice in my resource collection, I have a bunch of text typed in between just to make sure that what I was trying to convey to you, comes back to you when you're looking at the collection later on. So we've had the web address, we've had our text editor. The next option is images. So what I can do is I can upload images. So you'll see an image. I'm fairly certain I've got a picture of Manchester from my trip to Manchester when I went over in September of last year. So there's the Manchester skyline. You notice images look really nice, and this is a great quality photo to begin with. So I can zoom in and out. It's a great picture of Manchester where the team is based. I can also go back and I can design with Canva, which means I can put posters and infographics. I can make, a social media post. We can make all of that and pop it directly into the collection. I can also choose from Giphy or Unsplash. So it's a great way of utilizing what we have for images to bring in with our pictures. We showed you the bookmarks earlier where you can go to explore or search and find other people's content, and then you can bookmark it. And if I click that bookmark icon here, I can bring in other people's collections that I've already bookmarked. So if I say, I really enjoy this All About Me activity that I found, I'm going to bring it in. And just like I said, we play with anything across the web. This is Genie. So if anybody has used Genie before, right now it's just a stock image. When I click the magic button to activate the interactive components, now I can click on these and it takes me out to other people's work. So super cool that a Genie looks like a Genie. Instagram posts will look like Instagram posts. Everything looks like the app that it was built in, which is really cool. Next up, the video record and video upload is only for our paying districts. So we have an Education Pro plan that goes along with that. But in lieu of our video record and video upload, we do have Microsoft Flip built in. So you can click on this icon. It'll take you out to sign into Microsoft Flip, which never goes well for me, but we'll see. Usually I have to refresh it a couple times. Let's try this version of refresh. But with Flip, when they made the change, once you sign in, and that might be the issue, is I'm just not signed in. Once you make that change, you can bring your Flip videos directly in. You can bring in your topics, your grid videos. So you can pull those in here to integrate exactly with that as well. You can also bring in PDFs. So any PDF that you might have, here is our product profile. I can pop that in here, and PDFs are our ugliest looking thing. I'll be brutally honest. PDFs show up just like this. It says PDF, gives it the title. So that's where that customization option comes in, where I can tweak this. I can get rid of the words PDF. I can just call it like product profile. I'll change the description to all the information you need to know. And I'll change this to a Giphy, and I can search for like Wakelet. So right away, I've made that PDF look a little bit more visually appealing because I changed the image, I changed the title, and now when they click on that PDF, it's just going to open up, and there's our PDF. So just like it would in any other browser, PDF is hosted by us, so you don't have to worry about anything. We've got that stored in our AWS. You can pull tweets in. Thanks to Elon, that integration has really gone south because of the way that they broke the API. So usually you have to go out to Twitter now, find the share link for that tweet, bring it in, and that works just fine. But the link between the two doesn't work as much as well anymore. YouTube, great integration here. I love, and I've always wanted to be Bill Nye. Just don't have the chin for a bow tie. So when I look at Bill Nye, breaks down his favorite snacks, that is perfect for me. I can search for videos. I can add them directly to my collection with one link. And again, no ads, no distractors from those videos. I can still go out to YouTube first, grab a share link, and pop that in here as well. So you've got both options for that. And videos don't have to be like public videos. I use oftentimes a lot of unlisted videos because they're mine, and I don't really want a YouTube channel. I just want to have videos that I create for other people. So when I don't publish them, I just leave them as unlisted. I can bring that share link still and pop them into a collection. Down at the bottom, you'll see Adobe Express as well. We do partner with Canva, but we also partner with Adobe Express. So depending upon what, Adobe CC, whatever you're using in your classroom, students can still make that connection to bring their Adobe creations to life inside of Wakelet. And then we also have Google and OneDrive. So you can click and make one-click connections to your documents. Just remember that sharing permissions always take precedent. So if I bring something into my OneDrive, and it's a Word doc, and I say like anybody in the organization can view, but I share it with somebody outside of my organization, they're not going to be able to click that link and see what's on there. So I need to make sure that my settings are appropriate. Oftentimes, if I'm sharing materials beyond an organization, what I'll do, I'll download a PDF version of a slide deck or a document or anything else, and then I'll just upload that using the PDF editor, so that it goes up and is stored for anybody to see. That way permissions aren't a problem. But again, you can go out anywhere and go to a Kahoot quiz. You can bring in Edpuzzle videos. You can mix and match and build what you want to build. And then when you're ready, right, finalize your design. So that media view, right now, everything is big, giant blocks. I told you I'd show you. Here's the compact view. Shrinks it down just a little bit, right? Less visual. Here is grid view. It pops them in 2x2 columns. Here is that Pinterest style mood board. And then lastly, column view. And when I switch to column view, it's going to ask me to add columns, but the title columns will stay static now. And I could add another column here and keep adding columns over. And then I can just grab the hamburger, right? And I can rearrange my items. So it doesn't affect my content. I can rearrange these at any time. So if I want to move this one up, I can just drag and drop, do the same thing here. You can rearrange your content at any time. When you're ready to share it out though, you're going to get that share button and you're going to see that anyone, by default, it says no access. Right now, I'm going to say can view. This is the view only link. And on the free version of Wakelet, you are able to create as many collections as you want and share them for other people to view as much as you want. So I can copy this link. I can send this into Teams. I can send this to LMS. I can send this to wherever I want to. I can send this through Remind It or Parent Square if I'm connecting with parents as a newsletter. So I'm sending that out to share and publish. That's a view only link. If I want to make it collaborative, the free version of Wakelet only allows you to have 3 collaborative collections. So pick and choose when you would like to collaborate, which is when I go back to that question that someone asked. I believe it was Cindy about can they add to the collection. So you get 3 collaborative collections. So be mindful about when it is that you want them to add to this. Give them then that copy link. They can join from that link. You can give them a join code. Then they can add to those collections. All right, so very important. The number 3 is what you're going to focus on, is making sure that you only get those 3. All right, so we've built our first collection. We've shared it out now. We've gone over all the options. You'll notice in here I can make my own copy or I can move it to wherever I need to for storage. But now it's going to show up inside of my collections as collection number 1. It's right up there. In that home screen, you'll see I can search for a collection. So if I know what something's called and I don't want to scroll to find it inside of my list, I can search, or I can alphabetize or order my collections, from ABC order to when they were last updated to when they were created. So all of my collections live in here. All right, I'm going to share a resource collection, which is the one I'm presenting from today. And that's going to get you this entire getting started collection, which again, all of this stuff I've already went over with you, so don't freak out about that. We've got a Wakelet in 5 minutes video you can watch. But what I want to get you started on is a challenge with Chad and I here to help you out, or for ask questions or to see what's going on. I want this to be a chance for you to build and see. But I want you to create an all about me collection. And this isn't just me picking some random topic. These are very beneficial for like the start of the school year. As we know, classes are starting back up. Some of you have been back in school for a while. Some of you are getting ready to start soon. Show and create a collection that talks about your interests, family, pets, food, music, all those things that would be important to share with you. And I'll share you mine. This is mine. So meet Ryan McGinnis. This was from the Canva Meet the Teacher Challenge last year. I spent 17 years in education as a second grade, fifth grade STEM lab teacher, 2 years as an elementary principal, 5 years in PD and tech integration before moving to this role. You'll see, here's my family. So here's my wife, Lisa, also a fifth grade teacher. You'll see my daughter, Kennedy. You'll see my son, Connor. This is us at the beach. You'll notice the tan line from my Apple Watch. It's fine. Doesn't stick out at all. But I'm talking about things that are really great for our, getting to know me. My favorite animal is a penguin. And, local hockey team, Pittsburgh Penguins, watching them waddle around at the zoo. I think it's funny watching them fall over each other. My favorite book, The Phantom Tollbooth. That was one of those books that just gripped my interest as a fourth grader and totally infused a love of it for me. So, of course, there's the link to more about it. Favorite movie, I love baseball movies as well as comedies. So this was one that was really fitting for me, was for love of the game. And I put there's a link to IMDb. Here's YouTube videos about the game itself, or the movie itself, my favorite song. So of course you could create little playlists in here. And I love that. Spotify looks like Spotify when you link it in. Favorite food is coffee. I just finished about 2 cups of coffee as well. And then links about me. And what's cool about this is I could create this about me collection and I could share this out with my incoming students. And I could maybe share it as the QR code and put it on the postcard and mail it to all of my incoming students. Right? That's what I'm hoping my wife does this year. She starts back in 2 weeks. And I do it for Christmas cards. Christmas cards at the end of the year. You ever try to make your Christmas card and it only gives you 4 slots for photos, and you try to pick an entire year's worth of family photos to put into a Christmas card? I make a Wakelet collection, do it in mood board, and put all my photos in there. And then the ones that don't make it onto the Christmas card, I share the QR. I put that on the back of the Christmas card so that my family can still see all the rest of what I thought were the greatest photo memories for the rest of the year. So this Meet the Teacher Challenge is a great way to just showcase more about you and who you are. So I don't have a template, but I just wanted you to see what I did, right? All about me, family, and that's what we're going to have you do. So I'm going to stop sharing so that you don't have to have my screen taking over your screen. And I'd like for you to go ahead and create that very first collection for you, all about yourself. And if you have questions, if you have concerns, I'll be here to help out. I know Chad's here as well. So we'll be here to help answer anything. Does anybody need help getting started? Perfect. So it's 11:10. So we'll give you just a little. We'll give you about 10 minutes or so to build and see what you've started. Chad's back. And then we'll see if anybody wants to share in the chat what they've created as an option. No pressure or anything, but. For those of you who just need a little bit of more inspiration, I put my About Me collection in the chat so you can see what I added. Also, bonus points to whoever just tweeted out the picture of me during the session with the cat looking at me on the screen. The team just sent that to me and said, so I expect to see that getting retweeted like 500 times. So kudos to whoever. Yeah, Jasmine, perfect. Love it. So yeah, bonus points. I hope you win whatever the t-shirt and prizes. Chad, do you have an About Me collection? I was just going to ask. I didn't know if you had one that you created or no. Oh, you're muted still.
No, I have never created an About Me collection. I have one on the best barbecue in the state of Texas. I'm happy to share, but
you should share that one. Yeah,
I don't have a About Me.
That tells
No one
us
needs to know that much about me. It's
I mean, best barbecue. That's a pretty good one. See, and Cindy says she wants to see that one. So best barbecue coming your way. I know Chad's a good. He'll play along. See, look, everybody wants to see the best barbecue. See, there's because it's that debate again, right? It goes back to the, like you said, like best barbecue, and you're like, well, that's a touchy subject sometimes.
No. It's so you can find it wherever you go. Because there's not just a best one.
Right. I got you. There's not one best. There's multiple best in different locations.
Yeah. I'll put the link in the chat.
Perfect. All right, we're coming down to about our last 15 minutes. So we'll do 5 more of building your About Me collection. And then if anybody wants to share theirs in the chat, feel free to share what they've created. And then we'll take any questions and yeah. This might also be the first time I've noticed your dinosaur in the background, Chad.
It's a cookie jar.
Love it. I now need to upgrade. I need a cookie jar. Yeah. I do have this.
Yeah, I don't have one of those.
But we'll bring that into today as well.
I would starch mine and fashion it into a cowboy hat.
I figured you would. Right, a couple more minutes. I'm excited to see how these turn out. And if you don't want to share, that's fine too. I don't want to pressure you, but team control over here, remember? So can the size of the photo uploaded be reduced? So you can reposition the photo, so you can zoom in, zoom out. But as far as the size, of course, the bigger the photo you have, the more it takes up. What I've done before, Cindy, until they build, a photo editor in there is I put it into the Canva. I use the Canva integration and I upload the photo I want to use, and I'll put it onto like a Twitter background or something. So like about a 1040 by 800 file size, and then I put that in there. So if photos are too big, use the Canva integration, upload it to Canva, and then put it onto something smaller. All right. As being that it's 11:20, does anybody want to share their collection in the chat? So if they want to go up and share what they created so you can take a look at it. Of course, no pressure. If not, completely understand. I know it's a webinar. It's your first time maybe dealing with Wakelet, but just in case. And if not, that was me practicing wait time too, by the way. It's tricky. Oops, Cindy. If there's any questions too, or something that needs followed up, please feel free to ask that. I know Cindy asked about the size of the photo. Okay, no problem. Yeah, it's completely fine. I think it's a great idea. I'm glad you did too, Cindy. So yeah, we'll be excited. And if anybody makes one later on and they want to share it out, last year this was very popular. We did that Meet the Teacher challenge in September. I'll have to ask the team if we're going to do it again. But we did it as a Canva and Wakelet challenge. We had prizes. It was kind of like a back to school deal. So I'll check on that if we're going to do it for 2023 as well. And that's something you could always share out on Twitter and get more eyeballs on the product as well. I'm going to put Chad's email. I know he's already referenced it. It is pretty much the easiest email in all of the entire world. Chad is chad@wakelet.com. I'd probably tell you to go through him first since he is your regional counterpart. If he's got questions, he can always, come find me, but we'll work together and make sure still connecting my accounts. And Jasmine, if there's an issue with connecting accounts, again, reach out to Chad. We can always merge. We can bring things together. I know some people have, personal and work accounts. So let us know. Feel free, reach out on Twitter. I put my handle. Chad, what is your?
Mine's Wakelet Chad, @Wakelet Chad.
There you go. Oops, and I am just. I'll put it in here. I have to do it the funky way because Teams wants to make me think I'm messaging myself. I'm just @Ryan McGTech. So feel free to tweet out your collections, ask us for help, do whatever you need to. It's been a pleasure this morning working with you. If you have things that you still need answered, let us know. We still got a couple more minutes. If not, enjoy a couple minutes before you have to get to your next session. Fresh cup of coffee, espresso.
Red Bull.
I don't have one today. I've just got Advocare Spark.
Yeah, I know what you need, but you can't handle it. You need a coffee pouch.
That's probably true. Coffee pouch. Absolutely. I'll send that. I think the collection's already in the chat. Reach out. Any help. My contact info is in that collection. The whole Wakelet team is here to support you. So as you're on your journey, we're here to help. And Chad is definitely the person who's on location. I can help from afar, but let us know what we can do. And thanks for using our product. We're really excited to work with you.
Thank y'all.
Thanks, everybody.